guys, so this isn't like my typical beauty video, but I saw a girl I'm subscribed to on YouTube do this video and it inspired me to kind of do my own version of it. I'm gonna put her username down here. But basically she did a top 10 shows to watch on Netflix video, and I love Netflix and I love TV, so I figured I would give you some other recommendations because her and I had a few shows in common and I started watching a few shows because of her, but I have pretty different tastes. So I thought that it would be kind of interesting to give you my take on what good TV shows are on Netflix. So without further ado, let's go. So Bob's Burgers has 4 seasons on Netflix. It's pretty amazing. I love it. It's kind of, well, it's an animated series if you haven't heard of it. It's all over Tumblr and Twitter, but yeah, it's animated. It's kind of got a gritty, dark kind of humor. Not too dark though. I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but my parents were so adamant about, why are you watching that? That show seems so weird. What are you doing? And then I made them watch a few episodes with me on Netflix and they kind of got hooked, and I definitely walked out and caught them watching it. So anyone would love it, honestly. I've gotten pretty much all my friends hooked on Bob's Burgers, and it's probably my favorite TV show, especially my favorite animated series. So basically it's about this family who runs a failing burger shop, and what's cute is that in the background there's like a little board that has the special of the day, and it's always this like punny hamburger joke, but you have to kind of watch for it because, I don't know, it's just kind of something cute that you can see something different every episode, and it's like, oh gosh, the one that comes to mind, it was like a child molester hamburger. I don't remember what it was called though. I swear it was funny and it wasn't sick as it seems to be, but it was funny. I can't remember it. Oh well. But yeah, it's a really great show. You guys should really watch it. And sticking with the animated theme, I'm going to talk about American Dad. It's one of the Seth MacFarlane shows, and there's, you know, a ton for you to choose from. But I grew up pretty much watching Family Guy, and then one day I just randomly got bored of Family Guy, decided to turn on American Dad, and I fell in love. Roger is my favorite character on television. He's just this weird alien, and he has a new disguise every 5 minutes, and he's really cool. And it has a lot of, I feel like Family Guy is a lot more like fart jokes and kind of potty humor, which, girl, I love some potty humor, but I feel like American Dad is kind of more witty and smart in their jokes and their writing. It has political undertones because the whole story is that Stan Smith, the main character, he's a father, but he also works in the CIA, and he's a super Republican. The third animated show I want to talk to you guys about is called Archer. Basically, my friends have been bothering me to watch this forever, and I started watching it about a week ago. But because my friend would always say phrasing, and I never understood what she was talking about. I was like, what the hell? She's like, you have to watch Archer. So she told me that it was the same guy who voices Bob on Bob's Burgers. He voices Sterling Archer on Archer. And there's tons of cool people on there. There's Chris Parnell, there's Judy Greer, there's Aisha Tyler, and basically it's following this spoiled like rich kid who, his mom like runs this spy agency type of thing, but weirdly enough it's called ISIS, but it was ISIS before ISIS. So the show was started in like 2009, way before the terrorist group came up, but I was like talking to my friend and I was like, ISIS though? Why is it called ISIS? But other than that slight awkwardness, it's a very good show. There's like, this guy snorted crack off this girl's stomach, like there's sex, Lana, there's Carol, Carol's a whore, Pam's kind of a whore, everyone's just slutty, and it's like, oh god, how do I even describe this show? I like it because a lot of animated shows don't have a consistent like plot arc. They kind of just go episode to episode, there's a new scenario, but it never follows this like line. Like there's never an overarching plot, which is why, you know, Lisa Simpson is still like 8 or whatever for 25 years. But Archer has kind of a continuous plot line. Like there's relationship storylines. It's not just like episode to episode to episode, there's something new going on. You can tell that this series is actually going in a direction, which is something I don't find in a lot of animated series. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. Alright, so I have like a trifecta of comedy shows that I suggest to people. They're my basis for life. I started watching these when I was, honestly, I think it was 6th grade when I started watching 2 of these, and then the 3rd one kind of came later, but it followed the same sort of style. So the first one is The Office. The Office is incredible. I cried buckets on the series finale. I don't want to admit it, but I cried so hard. Jim and Pam are my relationship goals. If they're not your relationship goals, then you need to check your priorities. Sometimes I just rewatch because I love watching their love story. Oh my god, it's so great. Just the characters in there are really what makes it for me. It's not like an excellent plot line or anything. It's just those characters are hilarious. I love Michael Scott. My senior quote was a Michael Scott quote. My senior quote was, "The only time I set the bar low is for limbo." So basically it's just office shenanigans. You know, Jim and Dwight always pranking each other, Dwight talking about beats, Kevin being dumb, lovable Kevin, Jim and Pam's relationship, Andy from Cornell. And it's just amazing to see how all these people have gone on to do great things. So it has 9 seasons for you to binge watch. I've probably gone through all 9 seasons 3 times, so they're good to rewatch. And the second one in this little trifecta is 30 Rock. I definitely remember coming home from school on like Friday afternoons. I didn't have friends. I would just go home and watch 30 Rock because Tina Fey was who I aspired to be. And I love that show. I am Liz Lemon. She's just a quirky feminist. She isn't apologetic. She'll walk around in a messy bun and sweatpants because she can. She is an executive at TGS, which is basically a parody of SNL, and she runs shit on that show. It's parodying her life as a member of SNL for so many years, and it's always been my dream to do SNL. It's always been my dream to be on TV, working backstage on TV, doing that sort of thing. So she is my queen. I have never identified so strongly with one person. So then the last part of this trifecta is Parks and Rec, which I believe came out in 2009. It was later than all of the other 2, but it followed that same kind of format. It was much like The Office in that it's a documentary style, where they sit down and have cutaways of interviews and things like that. But it's about Leslie Knope, and she's a go-getter, and she's played by Amy Poehler, who also was on SNL, and she works in the Parks and Rec department, and she wants to build this park so badly, but everything goes wrong. But she uses her kick-ass positive attitude to always pick things back up and makes a lot of really good friends along the way. The next show was also featured in that girl's video that I watched, and it's Parenthood. Parenthood is an excellent TV show. It's directed by Ron Howard. He's one of my favorite directors. I absolutely love the way he films things. It's so beautiful, but so real. I don't know, it just makes me happy. So Parenthood is a great story. It's about a bunch of kids and their significant others and the families they created. It's just like a family tree that branched out and out and out and out. And through these different characters, through these different families, they examine a ton of issues. They examine Asperger's syndrome, pregnancies. They have, you know, sex in high school, abortion, PTSD, and things like that. A bunch of topics are dealt with on the show, and they're dealt with in a really, really, really great way. Just a real way. I'm really good at describing things. but it's authentic, it's genuine, the acting is excellent, and you can't get enough because there's so many different characters you have invested in, and you know, seeing how their lives change and how all their characters are interlocked, and you know, it's like they become a second family to you. I have 4 more to share with you guys before I finally stop talking. The first one is Orange is the New Black. If you haven't heard of it, it's a Netflix original. It's about a women's prison. You've probably heard a ton about it. I probably don't need to explain this to you at all, but the 3rd season came out back in June. I already finished it a while ago. It's really, really great TV. This season was a lot more funny, but whenever I tell someone about dramedy, this is a show I point them to because it'll have you laughing hysterically to where you pee, but also crying sort of at the same time. It's brilliant writing, brilliant, and the characters, the acting, it's another one of those where the way the characters interact and form relationships with each other is completely like, you can't do anything else while you're watching this show. Like, you can't go off and, you know, play a video game while you watch it or whatever, or text or do whatever, because you're gonna miss out on something very important and crucial to the storyline and crucial to the characters and how they interact. If you haven't seen it, you live under a rock, but that's okay. Get out of your rock and get on Netflix. And then I have to tell you about Breaking Bad, because I had a Breaking Bad obsession my junior year of high school. Obsessed. My friend in computer class told me, you need to watch it. If you don't watch the first episode and text me and let me know what happened so I know you for sure watched it, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. And so I was like, okay. So I went home Saturday afternoon, I watched it, and I watched it and I watched it and I watched it, and I was like halfway done with season 1, and he's like, did you watch the first episode? I said, I watched the first 5. So that started my addiction. It's, I mean, again, you have to be living under a rock. It's about a chemistry teacher who becomes diagnosed with cancer, and they're a very poor family, and they have to figure out how to do something, like, because they have a baby on the way and the cancer treatment and everything. So of course, naturally, the first thought that comes to his mind is, I'm gonna go cook meth. So he ends up being the head of this huge meth empire under the name, the alias Heisenberg. And if that didn't suck you in, I don't know what will. It's amazing. Everybody I talk to, I'm not going to spoil the last scene for you, but it's legendary. Everybody I talk to, their minds are blown after they finish that show, and you know, you're welcome for that recommendation. And the last show I'm gonna share with you guys is Arrested Development. It's also directed by Ron Howard, weirdly enough, but it's completely different from Parenthood. Completely. It's a very strange style, and like, a lot of people don't really get it when they, it's not that they don't get it, they're just not gravitated towards that sort of thing. It's narrated by Ron Howard, who is an outside narrator, and his narration is hilarious. It's so weird. Their family is the definition of dysfunctional, but it's not the dysfunctionality that we think about. Like, Parenthood is a very natural dysfunction. Like, you know, we're going through cancer, or our kid has Asperger's. This family in Arrested Development is crazy, but in an entirely different way, because they're like wealthy white people crazy. So, you know, one guy has a hook hand, and, you know, they have twins that are like pretending to be each other, and there's like, they're going to see Osama impersonators. It's ridiculous, but it's ridiculously funny. And it's just another one of those shows, man. If you walk away to go pee or something and you come back and it's like, what just happened? I'm so confused. I'm lost, because that 2 minutes just completely changed the course of the entire show. It twists and it twists and it turns, and it's strange, but I absolutely love it. That's basically my strange, jumbled up mess of my Netflix TV show favorites. Jilly Bean did this much better than I did, because she actually knew what she was talking about. She was coherent. She talked about the seasons, the plot, and I'm over here just like with words. But that's just how I roll. So hopefully you guys enjoyed and got a few show ideas out of them. My taste in TV has been rated top notch. So, I mean, take with that what you want. But these shows are amazing, and I'm gonna go watch American Dad season 9, so I gotta go. Bye!